I'm Rex Rogosh, and let's queer up students and youth culture. Deerfield, Illinois schools spend nearly $360,000 defending trans-inclusive policies. Illinois school districts are spending hundreds of thousands of dollars defending transgender-inclusive policies as legal challenges backed by conservative advocacy groups continue to grow. An investigation by Uncloseted Media and the Chicago Sun-Times found that Deerfield School District 109 has spent nearly $360,000 on legal fees, security upgrades, and staffing tied to complaints and lawsuits over allowing transgender students to use bathrooms and locker rooms that match their gender identity. The total equals about 37% of the district's annual federal funding. The legal disputes stem from complaints filed by conservative parent groups and organizations challenging policies that allow transgender students to use facilities that match their gender identity. School officials say their policies comply with the Illinois Human Rights Act, as well as state guidance and legal rulings. Parents, educators, and LGBTQ+ advocates interviewed for the investigation said the lawsuits are diverting money away from classrooms, mental health services, and student support programs. They also warned that ongoing legal battles are creating uncertainty and fears for transgender students and their families. However, complaints filed with federal agencies and lawsuits supported by conservative legal organizations continue to move forward. And unfortunately, it's the same thing that it's just not this. We're seeing this everywhere. You pick on one thing long enough. Unfortunately, there's more of them than there is of us. There's more organizations out there with money to do these things. So you've got one person, and then when their money runs out, you have another organization, and then you have another, and you have one person trying to defend the castle, and eventually other things. I mean, I'm glad that they are stepping up and they are fighting the fight. And I'm hoping that other organizations, other school districts, other states, other people see that and go, you know what, it's time for us to kick in. It's time for us to help. Because it is, they're saying they are complying with the law. They're complying with the guidelines. They're complying. So what's the problem? All of a sudden, you should be then suing not the school, but the state. If you don't like the law, sue the state to change the law. Fight. But unfortunately, they're fighting the people that they know have limited resources, and they're fighting the people that eventually, and we've talked about this before with healthcare, that eventually people break down because they're like, we can't keep protecting the 1% because the 99% are now hurting. And that's the sad reality. And we've talked about it on this channel multiple times.
That's why it's so important to get out and vote whenever you have the opportunity. You look at, we have a president of the United States who, is retaliatory and teaches that that's okay to penalize, states or school districts or whatever you have with retaliation if you go against
I mean, I agree about voting, but voting's not going to stop these private organizations.
No.
That's the problem. These are private organizations and private groups and private people suing a public organization. So voting, yes, voting worked because Illinois has the laws in place to protect people.
Well, thank God.
Yes. So unfortunately, it's these big conservative organizations that have unlimited funds because they get it from, their nefarious ways. And they're going after the small people, and that's exactly what's happening. So it's more than just voting at this point. It's standing up and also counterattacking, standing behind that 1% and making it more of a balanced fight instead of the other way around.
At the end, it's the students that hurt.
Yes,
they're hurting the students, and all the
students are hurting.
They're hurting all of them because the monies are being drained.
Exactly.
Right.
And that's why I was saying. Transgender population is 1% of the total population, right? And so you're going after that 1% because at some point you've drained all the money, and the school's going to have to make the decision, I can't hurt the 99%.
Right.
And that sucks.
I just want to say, make single stall all gender bathrooms.
There you go.
It's actually not that hard.
No.
Yeah. Gender neutral bathrooms, at least that solves the bathroom part.
Right.
And you know what? You're getting rid of everything else. So, just let's get rid of sports altogether. So then you won't have to worry about the locker rooms.
There you go.
And start teaching arts again. Makes for smarter people. There is no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ stories by sharing them and subscribing to Queer News Tonight.